When first getting started with Bitwarden, often users will be coming over from a previous solution and have different items that they'll want to import. To import to my individual vault, I can go up to Tools, Import Data, and choose the format of the file that I've exported from that solution. In this case, I'm going to choose Bitwarden, but as you can see, we have a wide variety of different options depending on what solution you were using before. I'll select that Bitwarden, choose my file, select Import, and now you'll see that my individual vault is populated with all the items that I brought over. So to create a new item, the easiest way to do this is with the Bitwarden browser extension. So I'll navigate to a site that I want to save a new login for. And the first thing to notice is that my browser extension will automatically detect that I already have a login for GitHub. This is indicated by the one icon. But if I want to create a new one, I can click on that icon and click on the plus. This will automatically fill in the login item type, the name with the URL that I'm trying to access, as well as my URI. Now note that a URI can consist of a URL, an IP address, or a mobile app bundle ID. That's why we specify URI and not just URL. Now I want to populate this with my username and password. So I can either choose to enter the username of my choice, so for example, my email address, or I can have Bitwarden generate one for me. I click on this Generate Username button, and I have some options. It will default to a random word, but I can also choose a plus addressed email. So if I click on this, it will use my current email address with a plus and some random letters and numbers. A catch-all email if you have a configured catch-all inbox for a personal or company domain. Or I can set up a forwarded email alias. We offer 5 different services for this, so I would just select the one that I want to choose, enter in my API key, and hit the Generate button in order to create one. As I don't want to use any of those options today, I'm just going to choose the random word and hit Select. Next, my password. I can click again on this Generate Password, and I have the option to generate either a password or passphrase. You'll notice that I have this notification at the top. So enterprise organizations can set policies that require a minimum complexity or character length for your password generator. This is to ensure that any passwords you create are fitting your security requirements. When I go down below and go to set my various options for either password or passphrase, you'll notice that while I can choose to make my password more complex, there are some minimums set here for me. If these options are not set by your organization, you would be able to check or uncheck those boxes, just like this one. So I'm satisfied with that password, and I'll hit Select. The authenticator key is what you would enter for the Bitwarden Authenticator to be able to generate your TOTP codes. TOTP codes, or time-based one-time password codes, are those 6-digit numbers that you can use as a secondary method to secure your accounts. Bitwarden makes it very easy to enter these in by scanning the QR code. If you're not able to use the mobile app, but would still like to use this authenticator option, typically there will be a button or a link at the bottom of the authenticator key screen that will allow you to pull up the text to be entered here. Below, I have my URL. I can choose to organize my new login either into a folder or set it as a favorite. I can set up a master password reprompt. So for a particularly sensitive login, I may want the master password to need to be re-entered before I can use it. Any notes for myself, and then custom fields. So custom fields can be added if there's additional information that you need to use in order to sign in on a particular site. Something like text, for example, if you need to enter a server or company name. A hidden field, so something that you want to be able to copy but not view in plain text. Boolean, so true or false, or a linked field. Last, but also very important, is ownership. So who owns this item? It will default to my vault, so your personal vault. Remember, items within this vault are not owned by your organization and cannot be managed by them. However, if this is something that I want to share with others, I can go down to my organizational vault, in this case, Bitwarden Demo, and I can select from all of the collections I have access to with this account. So I can choose to make it part of a single collection or all of the collections available to me, depending on which users it needs to be shared with. I'll go ahead and hit save. And now I can see that I have my second login for this site. Now, let's talk about actually signing in. When I go to the sign-in page, I have a few different options available to me for autofill. The first is Control or Command Shift L, depending on if you're on a Mac or a PC. When I hit that key, it will automatically try to fill with the last login that I used on this page. I can hit that same command again, so Control or Command Shift L, and it will cycle through any available logins that I have for this site. The second way is by going up to my browser extension and simply clicking on the one I'd like to use. The third is if I am starting from an empty field, I can right-click on that field, go down to Bitwarden, and go to Autofill. Last but not least, if instead of on page load, it being blank and having to take an action, I can choose to set up autofill on page load. From my browser extension, I'll go to Settings, scroll down, go to Options, scroll down again, and then check autofill on page load. Now, if I refresh the page, it will try to fill in the last login I used. In order to enable biometrics for my browser extension, I also have to have the desktop application installed. I'll go up to my File, Settings, and here I will allow my unlock with Windows Hello. Another setting you'll have to make sure is checked is down below, and this is to allow for the browser integration. Now, when I go to my browser extension, I can go into my settings, scroll down, and check Unlock with Biometrics.